Good day, my name is Flara and today I'm going to be discussing my submission for the T3 Frigate Design Competition. If you are here for the PvP fights, don't worry, I will have one of those at the end of the video. Let's get right into it. My submission is called the Detriment. It is a Minmatar Monitor Frigate, T3. It is called the Monitor after the naval warships that were small and had big guns on them, as you will see why shortly. It has a large front superstructure with these curving wing-like parts. I liked the idea of having a newer, technologically advanced Minmatar design incorporate some curves into its features, so I like this kind of slanted, curved thing. You have a weapon hardpoint here, some communications masts inspired by the ones often seen on Star Wars ships. You have engine set back here, engine set back here. There are two of these on each side of this little lower superstructure area. You have a thin section of hull with pipes and wires around it, inspired by the firetail and the hookbill. And you have the habitable decks for the non-capsuleer version up at the front. You have more sensor arrays, more sensor arrays, more sensor arrays, and the characteristic Minmatar sensor foil, the little solar array looking thing. From the back we can see that the engine block is structured as this kind of hexagon shape with 4 engines at the back in addition to the 2 tiny ones underneath the hull, very inspired by the tiny engines on the firetail. This is a weapon hardpoint, and you can see here it has a 720mm artillery, howitzer artillery 2 on it. You might be saying, that's a medium artillery gun. Yes it is. If we scroll down to the isometric view, we can see how it will kind of look through space. Alright, let's look at some stats. Here are my proposed stats for the Detriment class Monitor Frigate. I wanted to have some kind of ship that would fill the niche of a long-range, high-alpha fleet frigate that can engage at longer ranges and be a part of like cruiser and battleship fleets. So, in order to meet that end, here are the bonuses. Minmatar Monitor Frigate bonuses per skill level. 10% bonus to medium artillery damage, 5% to stasis web of fire effectiveness, 5% reduction in module heat damage amount taken. Now, on T3 ships, there is no Minmatar Frigate bonus. It's just the Monitor Frigate, Strategic Cruiser, or Tactical Destroyer. All of them have the 5% reduction in module heat damage amount taken, and that is a common thread amongst T3 ships. I did damage because obviously that's what the ship's bonus for, and stasis web of fire effectiveness because there are not many Minmatar ships, if any, that have an effectiveness bonus to stasis web of fires, and I figured since this ship has terrible tracking, only 33 in tracking mode and 6.68 otherwise, that having the strength bonus is rather nice. For the rolls, we will go, it's a small ship, hit and run bonused, E-war bonused, tackle bonused, exploration, uses artillery, and can be shield or armor tanked. For the roll bonuses, we have a 90% reduction in medium artillery, CPU, and power grid requirements, so that means you can fit them, instead of them being way over on power grid. We have a 100% penalty to medium artillery rate of fire, which means that it only fires half as fast. At level 0 skills, that means that you will fire once every 36 seconds. 400% bonus to medium artillery damage, that gets it up to a reasonable amount of damage even though you only have one gun. 37.5% bonus to core and combat scanner probe strength, because it's also a bonus for exploration, and the 10% bonus to relic and analyzer virus strength that comes on exploration ships. It is a T3 ship, so it is very versatile. Rigs may be removed from the ship without being destroyed. Similar to T3 cruisers, there is a subsystem slot, and both it and the rig slots can be removed and retrofitted on the fly. Let's go for some fitting stats. It has 2 highs, 1 turret, no launchers. You do have a utility high for Newt, NOS, Smart Bomb, whatever you want. 5 mids, 3 lows. I went for 5 mids because I envisioned it kind of like a breacher with an extra tracking computer. 3 small rigs, 400 calibration, like most T3 ships. 1 subsystem, Monitor Frigate Weapon Reconfiguration System, and you can choose 1 of 3 modules for this slot. Plus range, plus tracking, or plus damage. The plus range one will make you hit out to about 60 kilometers, maybe even longer. which is great for those big fleet fights where you need to hit very hard over a long way. 400% tracking is good for when you're close up and you need to hit something like a cruiser or battle cruiser that is pretty close to you and you're trying to keep in orbit. It gives it about half the value of small artillery tracking. Or you can do 50% damage to give yourself an extra turret and a half or so and give yourself a good fighting chance in straight, no transversal brawls. Here's some other stats that might be helpful. It has 790 shield HP, 790 armor HP, and 550 structure HP, with the resistances that are common for Mimitar Tech 3. This is about in between what Tech 1 and Assault Frigates have, and I figured it was a good middle ground for the ship because it has both shield and armor tank, so it can have a middle amount of both. The structure HP is also between Assault Frigates and Tech 1 Frigates. It is less than the Jaguar and Wolf, but more than the Rifter. It has 61 megawatts of power grid, 186 teraflops of CPU, and this is kind of a medium-sized number, but because there are not a lot of guns fitted, just one, and the 90% fitting reduction means it only uses 4 CPU, that generally means that you have a lot of fitting room for your 5 mids and 3 lows. 61 megawatts of power grid is a lot, and it is much more than most other frigates. The Wolf or Jaguar, I forget which one it is, but one of them has 48 megawatts, and the Rifter has about the same as well. So 61 is a very large amount. You can spend it all on the gun, which is going to take about 20 power grid, but then you have 40 left, so you can mount some pretty crazy stuff on this, like 10-man afterburners, 50-man micro-warp drives, or very large tanks. It has 350 gigajoules of capacitor, which is about standard. Also, with the power grid, if you choose not to fit a gun and instead run it as a full tackle ship, you can do really crazy things with it, like 60 MN with 2 shield extenders or some really weird stuff. Its max velocity is 380 meters per second, which is on the fast side. It's about between Vigil Fleet and Firetail speed, but its mass is 1.375 million kilograms. Didn't put the units on it, that's my bad. This is much heavier than any other frigate in the game. So, Tech 1 frigates are usually around 1.05 million, and Assault frigates will run you a little over 1.2 million. So 1.37 means that prop mods fitted to the ship are going to have a lot less effect. Its inertia is 3.3, which is very bad. Most frigates have between 3 and 3.2. This could be adjusted when CCP goes over the stats, but it seems like a pretty decent balance to prevent Fozzie Claws and Windrunners from happening again too aggressively. Targeting range is 35 kilometers. If you want to hit up to 60, you're going to need remote sensor boosters or sensor boosters itself. That's why I gave it 5 mid slots. Signature, 31 meters, pretty typical for a frigate. Scanning resolution, 650, also pretty typical for a frigate. Cargo capacity, 280. That's more than most frigates that have 130, but because it got exploration bonuses, I figure I'd give it half of an exploration cargo hold and get a little middle ground as 280. Notes about the design of the ship. I originally built this as a Lego model a few years ago when I built a Lego Rifter out of spare parts and kind of liked the look of just one of it, and so I modified the back and the sides of it and came up with this. It is a super sweet design and I'm very pleased with it. It has a lot of inspiration from the Firetail with these kind of wires and pipes, as well as from the Firetail with these small engines on the bottom. I like the way that dreadnoughts look with their large weapon turret hardpoints and stealth bombers, so I wanted to go with that for this to make them look really powerful with big guns. On the subject of the other 3 that I proposed for this line, the Caldari one will be railguns, the Amar one will be beam lasers, and the Galente one I think it would be fun to do sentry drones. I have no idea how that would be balanced because sentry drones are infamously always needing to be nerfed or buffed or changed or reworked or anything like that, so that might be a little bit of a hard one to implement. But I think the Monitor Frigate will be very fun. I imagine use cases of these being large frigate gangs in fleets that just accompany the main cruiser and battlecruiser line and do high volley shots on enemy capital ships or cruisers or battleships. The other way I see this being used is with a tracking bonus going up close and doing a lot of damage in a anti-dreadnought or anti-whatever fleet where you need a lot of damage. The third use case I think for this is solo PvP and faction warfare. With the Sys Whipperfire effectiveness bonus, this thing can pull out to range with its 5 mid slots and hit you with like 16 or 1700 volley damage, maybe even more. It's really silly. Just don't miss your first shot, otherwise you're super dead. Anyway, I think this would be a very fun idea for a Tech 3 frigate, and I hope you like this presentation. Now on to the fights.
you.